I don't know what any of this means, or why we go through so many things. Scared of death and too afraid to live. That's why me and my friends just talk about the aliens. Breathe in, breathe out. My 2 feet on the ground. Breathe in, breathe out. My 2 feet on the ground. It is what it is, wasn't meant to happen any other way, 'cause it did. Doesn't really matter what you wanted in the end, when it is what it is, what it is, what it is, what it is. It is what it is, wasn't meant to happen any other way, 'cause it did. Doesn't really matter what you wanted in the end, when it is what it is, 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 love. One thing I know is I don't got any answers. Try to stay in the moment, I get lost in forever. And I don't know if it ever gets better. It's why old men just talk about the weather. Breathe in, breathe out. My 2 feet on the ground. Breathe in, breathe out. My 2 feet on the ground. It is what it is, wasn't meant to happen any other way, 'cause it did. Doesn't really matter what you wanted in the end, when it is what it is, what it is, what it is, what it is. It is what it is, wasn't meant to happen any other way, 'cause it did. Doesn't really matter what you wanted in the end, when it is what it is, 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 love.
Begin by settling in to your body. Just notice the sinking, softening, in through the nose, out through the mouth. In, out. Invite it in.
It is what it is, wasn't meant to happen any other way, 'cause it did. Doesn't really matter what you wanted in the end, when it is what it is, what it is, what it is, what it is. It is what it is, wasn't meant to happen any other way, 'cause it did. When you're looking back, try getting less of the shit, when it is what it is, 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 love.
a cold night here in Austin. How are you doing, brother?
It's not that bad. It's not that bad.
It's cold.
I'm excited to be here. It's fun. What else are we going to do on a Sunday night? Thank you, everyone, for tuning in.
Yeah, totally. So we are going to be doing the Book of Job like nobody's ever done the Book of Job before, because we are going to be comparing it against the only 3 known versions of reality that exist. Yes, everyone, there are just 3 versions of reality. And we are going to ask you to decide which version of reality the Book of Job works with, because you can believe in either geocentrism or heliocentrism. Either case, Earth is a ball, it's in outer space, and the explanation for materiality is atomism. Or B, you can believe that we are in a pressurized pizza dome where the explanation is atomism. Or C, you can believe that we are in a virtual reality where the explanation for materiality is that we're in a virtual reality. So that's what we're going to be going through tonight. If anybody else can come up with another version of reality that they would like to share, all we ask is that you have a map, a model, and an explanation for materiality. And you can't use any of the ones listed in the 3 that I mentioned already.
Yeah, to come up with a new one, right? So there are different variations of the models, with the domed flat Earth as well as the spherical Earth also being concave, where you're inside of a ball with balls spinning around inside of another ball, which again is Kabbalism, right? So what we're talking about is how the Bible actually supports, and especially the Book of Job, chapter 38 specifically we'll be looking at, talks about the true virtual reality and the way that we can actually see how it works, as well as understanding the Book of Genesis and the creation story. It makes much more sense when you can use a supernatural realm. So this is what we like to do. We like to look at our reality and then match it up with what the scriptures say, as well as the Book of Enoch. And what we definitely stand upon is the circle of sight, the way the sun, the stars, and the moon all work, all the luminaries above us, tracking that in your local position. That is what reality is. The edge of your reality is where the sun rises and the sun sets.
The distance that you can see to the horizon. And we've established that the world record, as far as the largest distance to the horizon from a ground-based observation, has been 125 miles. And when we do a Flat Earth Hangout coming up again, we're going to be showing you all some footage from 80,000 feet that was right here over Austin. Our house is in the footage from 80,000 feet. We know this area very well. We can show you the landmarks, and we can show you that from 80,000 feet, you can see basically 45 miles in width. And so that is the circle of sight that is visible from 80,000 feet.
Yeah, looking in one direction. Then you could turn around and see 45 minutes in the other direction. Right? It always has to be the observer's location and their location and their point of attack, depending on which way you are looking on the compass, will tell you your distance that you can see. So yeah, that'll be fun to go into. Again, always looking into the flat earth concepts. Tonight we're going to mix it together, right? You're basically proposing that there's 3 versions of reality. Again, we'll state it. The spherical one, where you're on an infinite big bang flying through outer space. The other one is that you're on a pizza map that's got a dome over it that's supposedly pressurized. And the third one is a virtual reality. These are the 3 that we're gonna look at. And we're gonna do an update on that flat earth group that we were sharing last week. It doesn't seem to be going so well. And we're also going to dive into a tiny introduction into prophecy, something that we haven't really covered too much, that we do expect more and more prophecy to be fulfilled. So why not look at some of it and explain how Christianity is the only religion or the only reality that you can research that actually has verifiable, backed up things that were prophesied, right down to the fact of the words that the MOTB, that I can't even say, nor can I do the gesture for it. We can tread on serpents. Don't be worried about the venom. There's so many words that I could say that I don't want to get this podcast taken down, but right down to, if you don't do this, you can't participate in society. It's all perfectly laid out in the scriptures, and I'm looking forward to getting into that too.
My channel is so close to actually being cleaned from strikes. Yes, let's try to keep it that way. But we do cover the tough topics. We're not going to shy away from that. And that's the reason why we've had to deal with so many community guideline strikes. But we've got Rumble. We've got other ways that we can get these messages out. Yeah, what else, brother? Anything else before we get into the content?
No, that's it. I'm ready to go. I gave my update. Thanks for being here. Let's have a fun time.
Let's go.
Track of time and peace of mind. I wish it was still 2005. Turned on a dime, touring with the hives. I wish I could sing us lullabies if we had infinite days. As if there were words left to say. Besides, I love you too. Let's dream to weep. You can get a new tattoo. I wish I could change your point of view, like my attitude or my missing tooth. I hate staying being mad at you. As if we had infinite days. As if there were words left to say to you. Besides, I love you too. So take my hand, baby, take my hand. So take my hand, baby, take my hand. As if we had infinite days. As if there were words left to say to you. Besides, I love you too, even though you're a slut.
That finished different. All right, so we are at the Book of Job. We've had people ask us to cover the Book of Job. You've wanted to cover the Book of Job for a long time, and it's finally happening. What do you say?
Yeah, a bunch of people were looking for us to cover that. Absolutely don't. I missed that end note. I don't know how that broke through our boundaries. Sorry about that, everyone, for tuning in. Yeah, we do our best to bring new music, and sometimes, we don't always filter everything out perfectly. Please remember that we're in a fallen place trying to do the best we can and bring you unfallen content. But I love the Book of Job. It's generally called the oldest book in the Bible, which is an absolute blasphemy. If you're going to talk about the oldest book, it's obviously the creation of Adam and Eve. It's going to be your first book of the Bible.
The Book of Adam and Eve?
Obviously, right? The Cave of Treasures was written, these are the oldest books, and they were handed down through time, through Enoch,
Yeah, there's an old book. It came across on the Ark.
Yeah, but the Book of Job was definitely an old book as well, all due its respect. But interestingly enough, the parabolic language that Job has is very strong, what he's gone through. And there's always so much to learn from the scriptures. We can always open up a book, dive in, and we can always find so much more that we never even thought that we could see before. There's a whole other language hidden inside the scriptures, right? That it takes years of study and devotion and the right heart condition, and you can start to read a totally different language, and it's done through pictures, right?
Pictographic,
so it doesn't matter how you translate water, it's water, right? And the sun is the sun. It doesn't matter which word you want to call it. You know that it's the thing that rises, the sun. So let's get into this. I'm really excited. Yes.
All right. So we're going to begin reading, but we are going to take our time in the reading here, and we are going to dissect these scriptures in a way like you probably have never heard before. And that is we're going to be pitting all these scriptures against three versions of reality. either the globe, the pressurized pizza dome, or the virtual reality, because those are the only three models of reality that exist. All right, so it begins in chapter 38. Then the Lord spoke to Job out of the storm. He said, "Who is this that obscures my plans with words without knowledge? Brace yourself like a man. I will question you, and you shall answer me. Where were you when I laid the earth's foundation? Tell me if you understand."
So, I mean, hold on. What does it mean if the earth has a foundation?
Foundation. So I was a concrete guy growing up.
Yeah.
And a foundation is something that you build on that's solid so that the structure itself will be solid and not move.
Yeah, foundation means that something's founded. That it's solid, it's stable, it's fixed, right? So right off the bat, we can cross out the heliocentric model. Already, we're only four verses into the chapter. We're already heliocentrism gone.
Foundation. Boom.
The pizza dome map actually makes it through this little gate.
It can, but the pizza dome, they really don't say if it's just flying through outer space or if it's sitting on top of a spherical planet or not, right?
Yeah, most flat earthers have it in outer space.
They do.
That's how they show it on their channel.
All right, so verse 5. Who marked off its dimensions? Surely you know. Who stretched a measuring line across it?
I mean, this is an easy one. Right, this is an easy one. I can decipher this hidden language. It was, lo and behold, drum roll, the Father and the Son. They're the ones that set out to create the creation. And then it says right in the book of Genesis that everything was created through the Son. You got the Father. He said, let's do this. Grab the end of the tape and go that way. And the Son said, yes, Dad. Here, he grabbed the end of the tape and he went across and they marked it off. Easy answer.
All right, so I'm going to do something that I don't know too many people have done before, and I'm actually going to tell us all the actual dimensions of Earth.
Well, I mean, hang on. Let's just let everybody know the only reason we're able to come out here and say these things, how these questions that Job, because you can find, what do they call, apologists? People who write what they want to interpret the Bible to support. I mean, like Maimonides and all these other nonsense characters, Calvin. They weren't able to, they said that this book of Job here was just beyond knowledgeable. You can't understand, it's incomprehensible. Now, it's been 3,500 years, maybe more. I don't know the exact date of the book of Job. I know we can look through the lineage. But so we now have all of this time that the virtual reality is run to put all the evidence together. And that's how we're able to come out here and say these things so easily.
Yeah, well, we do have the internet, so we can do this.
The internet. Unlimited, searchable, every book, everything that you want at the end of your fingertips. It's a dream come true. I can't even tell you how long I've dreamed of something like this. Could you imagine someone who had a learning disability and what they had to go through in previous times to learn how to read and write the Hebrew and the Greek, and everything was so messed up when the Latin took it over, just they killed everybody that understood it.
Or even 30 years ago, we would have had to have gone to a library and requested a book for this information.
It's so amazing what we have right now.
All right, so if you want to know how big Earth is, it's real simple. So everything is based off of the nautical mile. The distance between degrees of longitude is about 60 nautical miles. So the distance between the degrees of longitude and latitude, here degrees of latitude, are always 60 nautical miles apart. So every degree is 60 nautical miles. We'll bring up the calculator. Brother, how many degrees are there in a circle?
That's 360.
360 times 60 is 21,600 nautical
miles.
Not regular miles. So let's go nautical to U.S. miles. We're going to go 21,600. The actual U.S. mileage is 24,856.836 miles.
24857.
Yeah. But this, all right, so there is, Earth is a square too. We've wondered before in the past whether or not Earth could be a rectangle, but because the nautical miles of latitude and longitude are equal, Earth is a square. 24,857 rounded off, both north, south, and east, west. There you go.
Any direction, right? So what you live is a contained, infinite continuum, right? So there's only so many miles that you can travel north, east, south, or west, and it's dictated on what Jason's showing you right now. So if you go north at the certain speed, right? Jason's showing you. If you go north, you'll reach your starting point at exactly the predicted amount of time. That's how you actually measure the boundaries, because the boundaries are invisible. We have an amazing the creator. If the boundaries were visible, we would have known we were in a created place. The mysteries were given to us to search, to try to come up with these answers. Why do you think Yahawashai is asking Job to answer these questions? Because this was the part of humanity, the part of Adam's story was learning, right?
Yep. So the nautical mile is an arbitrary unit of measurement, right? But because we have the nautical mile and we have a comparison to the US mile, yeah, so every 60 miles, nautical miles, 1 degree, Earth is 24,000 some odd miles square.
And we use the sun. We use the sun to measure it, the sun's path and speed above our heads, right? And then what Jason said, we can also travel if we were given the ability to, and looks like the New World Order has that locked down.
So, Job was not able to answer this question back then, but because we have the internet, we were able to answer it now. So
some tough ones.
The next question, on what were its footings set, or who laid its cornerstone? Wow.
So again, that would have been Christ laid the cornerstone, and we know that the footings were actually set upon water, right? That also the earth was hung upon
nothing.
What, Jason? Nothing. So heliocentrists are going to come in and say, oh, that proves. No. Your heliocentric model has what they call dark matter and matter, antimatter, black matter. They have things that are involved in it. This is basically what we're getting now is, how are you going to make a simulated reality or a virtual reality? First, you have to have a program, and you're going to start with an empty program. Nothing is going to be, when you open up the modeling program to create something, it's going to be empty. You have to add a light source in it so that you can start to see the things that you then put into that modeling program. So what are we getting off, Job? First, we're getting a way to measure it. How do you measure it? Okay, yeah, you got to measure it with the sun, or you can travel in any distance, and it's in nautical miles. You can only travel so many in each direction before you cross your starting point again. That's how you know and measure a borderless, boundaried place. Okay, where were the footings set? They were set upon nothing. First was brought forth the waters that were there. Okay, you can continue now.
Verse 7. While the morning stars sang together and all the angels shouted for joy.
That's obviously the birth of Adam, except for Azazel and his crew, when they said, no, we're not going to worship him. I was created before he was, right? And Michael was very wroth.
All right, so now it starts to get a little interesting. Verse 8. Who shut up the sea behind doors when it burst forth from the womb? All right, so we do have a description here in the book of Job of the sea being bound by doors. What do you think that is, brother?
Well, I mean, when you do the search in verse 8, the word womb, you actually get the word matrix.
Right? That is true, yes.
The sea behind doors when it burst forth from the matrix, right?
Yeah, you want to look that one up?
You can do it if you want. Go ahead. Yeah, you got the screen share.
All right, Job.
Strong
38.
Or no,
8.
Strong's Concordance.
All right,
they'll have that.
From the womb here.
Yeah.
All right, we have not matrix here. We have Rechem, womb.
This is a deeper study. I could be wrong, but I do remember that's some of the translations they actually did liken it unto the.
Yeah, it might be like
Another time.
Newt.
We'll find that another time. Don't worry. If we have more time, this was just on the fly.
Yeah.
Searching it. Go ahead. Continue, please.
When I made the clouds, its garment, and wrapped it in thick darkness, when I fixed limits for it and set its doors and bars in place, when I said, this far you may come and no farther, here is where your proud waves halt.
So again, that's giving your borderless borders. This is how it was done, right? The separation of the earth realm and the other realms. So outside of the earth realm, there was more waters, right? We have a description of more waters that pour forth in here from Eden. And it's a cycling system.
Yeah, so, I mean, like the way I tried to show it in the virtual reality explained video that I did, I see the dimensions from east to west and the dimensions from north to south being the sandbox of materiality. And so it talks about where the fixed limits for it, right? So there is a fixed dimension for it, but there are doors and bars set in place. This is where the waves halt. But as we know, you can continue in that direction and you show back up in the place where you started.
Right. But that doesn't mean that there's a boundary.
Right.
Because we are not going off into other infinite lands. Right. So it is what is unseen, which is the boundary, can be seen through the metaphor is the answer.
And it continues, have you ever given orders to the morning or shown the dawn its place, that it might take the earth by the edges and shake the wicked out of it? Come on, can we talk about earth having edges for a second?
And it also being fixed.
Yeah. All right, so come on, the globe, be it geocentrism or heliocentrism, that just got thrown out with the fact that Earth has edges to it.
That's a big problem.
Yeah. All right.
That famous AE map quote.
Famous one, yes. The Earth takes shape like clay under a seal. Its features stand out like those of a garment. What do you think that means?
The topography of the land?
Topography, yeah.
It's pretty basic, right?
Really basic. So
but poetic.
When we say flat Earth, I mean that it's not quite literal where there is no topography, everyone. Yeah. We're not denying.
The Earth's great features stand out like a garment. We could say that too, but we say flat Earth. Okay.
We are not saying the Earth has no topography. And so it's like
flat like a mirror.
Right. So clay under a seal, we understand how that works. It leaves an impression, a topography.
Yeah.
Verse 15, the wicked are denied their light, and their upraised arm is broken.
Ooh, that's not good. And you know who's got the statue and all the symbolism with the one arm up, right? We know who that is.
Yep. Have you journeyed to the springs of the sea or walked in the recesses of the deep?
So again, these are basically things that Yahawashai. So walking on the springs, again, I was saying that the earth has a system of water that connects it to the heavenly ones. And it acts as a spring. Springs are water, how water comes up into this reality. It also cycles from the south into the north and then flows out. The clean, fresh water. Anybody that lives in the east or west coast of Canada can tell you how the water and how pure it is. The more north you go, it's interesting because iceberg water is pure, right? But the rest of the ocean is salty. So what basically we're getting here is Christ's parabolic language. He's the one who's journeyed upon and walked across the waters. And the recess of the deep, we're getting to understand where hell is, or what people think of as Sheol, or there's a bunch of different names for it. But this is a Christ parable.
Yeah, that's coming up. I was pretty excited to be able to answer what the actual dimensions of Earth are, But verse 17 is absolutely humbling. Have the gates of death been shown to you? Have you seen the gates of the deepest darkness? No, no. We have no idea other than what the scriptures tell us about it. But, I mean, what's the one scripture as far as...
40 years.
Yeah, having a millstone.
Yeah. 70 stone. 70 kilos, I think it was.
Yeah.
And 40 years fall to the bottom of that pit.
40-year fall.
Have you comprehended? It says here, the vast firmaments of the earth. No, they use the correct transliteration.
That's why I like the NIV. I like the NIV mostly.
That's the correct term. And the NIV makes mistakes too. None of the books are flawless, but they all preserve the parabolic language as they were predicted and prophesied to do.
Yeah, so the vast expanses. This is what the Freemason fake flat earthers will mistranslate
the dome
as the dome.
Whoops. How many domes are there now? Clown shoes. That's pluralized. Oh, now they got me saying their things. Go on. How many domes are there? Are there vast domes here on Earth? No. There's no domes.
All right. So it says, tell me if you know all this. We were humbled. We knew a little bit, but we do not know all of that. What is the way to the abode of light? And where does darkness reside?
I mean, obviously, the east is the direction the sun rises, and the west is the section that the sun sets, where darkness then rises, right? Or no, east. My guess is east.
Good guess. Can you take them to their places? No, we can't do that. Do you know the paths to their dwellings? Well,
yes, we absolutely can. This is talking about the Andrew Marsh program.
Yeah, 100th of a degree per second, right?
And stellarium.
Yeah, it's
throw in stellarium.
Yeah. So we do know the paths, literally, of the luminaries to the 100th of a degree per second, where we can pick any location on Earth, any day of the year, any time, and we can tell you that you can go out with a compass and something like a transit. You know, you have to be able to sextant, like a sextant, where it'll tell you the degrees and
above the horizon,
degrees of altitude. So using your azimuth and degrees of altitude, you can pinpoint any location in 3D space. That's called Cartesian space. And yeah, so we do know the paths.
Yeah, we've been showing them, right? If you pay attention, you can research them and learn yourself.
Surely you know, for you were already born. You have lived so many years.
Reincarnation?
Mm-hmm.
Oh. Come on. Is everybody paying attention to that scripture? Surely you should know.
All right. So here's where this goes super against the first two impossible versions of reality. All right. Verse 22. Have you entered the storehouses of the snow or seen the storehouses of the hail?
Which right out of the book of Enoch.
Which I reserved for times of trouble, for days of war and battle. So, in heliocentrism, in the pressurized pizza dome, there is nothing that can account for the treasures of snow, hail, these things.
No storehouses in the sky, everybody. Sorry, you'd physically be able to say, there's the storehouse.
Well, and here's the monstrous problem. That is water is heavier than air, if you've ever taken notice.
Much heavier. It's very heavy. Water, if you got to carry it, everybody on the other side, you better be strong.
It's
water's heavy.
8 pounds per gallon.
It's heavy.
So when you have a big rainstorm that comes through and drops 4 inches of rain over like 20 square miles, it's literally dropping like many billions, even close to trillions of gallons of water, or pounds of water. So this is Olympic-sized swimming pools by the thousands, hanging out, just floating in the air, until all of a sudden their time that they decide that they want to fall there. All right, because it floated into the area and just decided, all right, now we're going to dump it all right here.
It keeps going here into 24.
Yeah, that doesn't work in atomistic materiality. What is the way to the place where the lightning is dispersed? or the place where the east winds are scattered over the earth. Right? All of the
Interesting.
Who cuts a channel for the torrents of rain and a path for the thunderstorm to water a land where no one lives, an uninhabited desert, to satisfy a desolate wasteland and make it sprout with grass?
Again, these are creator scriptures, and you could look at the what is it called here in the United States, where everybody goes, where they have the big dam, Hoover Dam. If you look at that river and that channel that's carved out, you'll start to understand this is what the scriptures are talking about. He directs the flow of water to carve out the lands, and he brings where there's desolate deserts, grass and trees and life to flourish. And obviously that's Yahawashai.
Yeah. Does the rain have a father? Who fathers the drops of dew? So asking, what is the source? Who gave birth to these things? Where did they come from? These heavy liquid things that are heavier than air, that float in the air, right? From whose womb comes the ice? Who gives birth to the frost from the heavens? When the waters become hard as stone, when the surface of the deep is frozen. Can you bind the chains of the Pleiades? Can you loosen Orion's belt? These are interesting constellations. This is actual astronomy. And it's interesting that the Bible calls these constellations by names that we recognize and know and understand and can go out and witness and record ourselves. Right? So the Bible is true astronomy. Can you bring forth the constellations in their seasons, or lead out the bear with its cubs? Do you know what it's referring to with the bear and its cubs here? Is that just the springtime?
The Northern Star constellation.
Is that the bear?
Yeah, of course it is. Ursa Minor, Ursa Major.
Okay.
Right? Everybody that lives in the north knows that.
So
if you love the stars, you have to actually learn them.
The constellations in their seasons. Who can do that? So we've got 12 constellations along the ecliptic, and so every year those constellations rotate as far as the sun traveling through them. The sun travels at a slightly slower speed than the fixed stars. So it's always falling behind and moving through the constellations a little bit slower. The moon even slower than that. So that is what makes up our calendar as far as the year is concerned, is the sun's travel through the constellations of the ecliptic. Do you know the laws of the heavens? Can you set up Yahawah's dominion over the earth? Can you raise your voice to the clouds and cover yourself with a flood of water? So can you call down rain, brother?
Well, do I have to be completely frank and honest in all situations? Have I done anything different with the way that the weather happens?
I don't know. I can't call in.
You Harvey and it stopped.
Well,
I'm trying to say,
that did happen.
Spot here. I don't want to.
It did happen.
I'm not trying to say I did anything fanciful. I just prayed. Okay, that's all I'm saying. I'm just like everyone else here. We're all equal. Your heart is what matters. But
do you send the lightning bolts on their way? Do they report to you? Here we are. Right. Who gives the ibis wisdom?
Hang on.
All right.
So you can go out and talk to the lightning, but basically what I'm getting from that scripture, right? Can you raise your voice into the clouds? Do you go out and talk to the clouds? It's sometimes fun and healing. Jason's done it in videos. I've done it too. But do you send the lightning bolts on their way, and do they report unto you? So the way we can see that in the virtual reality is it's basically the data. It's simple, right? If you set up the virtual reality, you can get the ray traced points of where the lightning strikes, where it gets struck to, where you're sending it. You did the data. You have the information. So it's just asking. That's basically, do you have the data? And no, we don't, but I mean, we can use weather apps nowadays, and you can get some pretty amazing data where you can see, oh, the lightning struck here, the lightning struck there. Again, also stating to the fact that we most likely live in a virtual reality.
Yeah. I have called out the thunder before, right? Because if you've ever paid attention, you can have lightning storms come through where there's these huge monstrous flashes, and then they say like a sound travels like a mile per second or something like that. So you sit there and you start counting, waiting for that thunderclap, and I'll see these big flashes that are right here in my presence. I see the bolt in my right there, and then sit there and start counting, and all of a sudden, like, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 30 seconds later, all of a sudden the rumble. And I mean, I could see where the lightning struck, like in a couple miles away from me, right?
Yeah, weather is serious. It is quite a phenomenal thing, but you absolutely can interact with everything in this reality, everything that they've lied and taken away and hidden from us. And again, this is talking about the data, right? Yahawah is asking Job, can you get the data for me on all the strikes of lightning? And Job's like, oh, obviously I cannot. Could you imagine 3,000 years ago, the level of the intellect? We're just lucky to have words like virtual reality within the last 80 years. Not even 80 years. I guess I get Buddha had like a, non-nothingness reality. There were some other philosophers who came up with some thought ideas, but the Bible, really, it's all been here all along.
When would you say computers became like known to the public?
1980.
Yeah.
It was that Apple computer, that the first, homeowners type system where it wasn't like a work thing.
So who gives the ibis wisdom or gives the rooster understanding?
The rooster.
Come to snuff the rooster.
Well,
go ahead.
So again, that would be Yahawah, and he most likely did it through Christ. Christ got involved here with the understanding, and basically, again, it's talking about the foundations of consciousness. It's just a basic root of reality. So the rooster has to know what he does, so that they can continue to make more chickens. So the wisdom is given to the rooster from Yahawashai. And you could probably say that about every answer, but how interesting this stuff is.
Who has the wisdom to count the clouds? Who can tip over the water jars of the heavens when the dust becomes hard and the clods of earth stick together? Do you hunt the prey for the lioness and satisfy the hunger of the lions when they crouch in their dens or lie in wait in a thicket? Who provides food for the raven when its young cry out to Yahawah and wander about for lack of food? Right, so,
what a chapter!
Bunch of tough questions given to Job, wouldn't you say?
Yeah,
especially.
I don't know it all. I can't answer every single one of these. There was a few that just left me and just pondering.
Yeah. Yeah, so this is all the information that the creator has. It was all part of a design. And the creator, his son, they are the ones that control all of these features of Earth. They know the reason behind each one of these decisions as far as why something was made the way it was.
Yeah. And, to add to what I was saying earlier, the word matrix, it's basically also used many times for that same word with the womb. You find it Exodus 12:13, thou shalt depart unto the Lord Yahawah, and all that openeth the matrix, and every firstling that cometh of a beast, which thou hast, the males shall be Yahawah's. 13:15, Exodus 34:19, and all that openeth the matrix is mine. Numbers 3-12, and I, behold, I have taken the Levites from among the children of Israel instead of all the firstborn that openeth, yes, the matrix among the children of Israel. And then Numbers 18:15. So there are a bunch of times the word womb, as you had read before in the other translation, can also be used as matrix, likened unto the earth system that we're in.
Yeah, I have seen that many times. So the abode of light, this world, This world, the creation account, Genesis 1, right? First day of creation, there was day and night, right? It wasn't until the fourth day of creation that the sun, moon, and stars were created. So this is another major failure of the heliocentrism and the pressurized pizza dome, because they work off of atomism. And in atomism, material reality, all of the light has to come from the stars or suns. There's nothing else that's there to create light in those systems. Right? So you could not have had day and night before you had the luminaries if you believe in either the globe earth or the pressurized pizza dome. There is no explanation for it.
Yeah, absolutely. T says, Isaiah 40:26, lift up your eyes and look into the heavens. Who created all of these? He who brings out the starry host one by one calls forth each one of them by name. Because of his great power and mighty strength, not one of them is missing. And again, the scriptures also verify and stand forth as the evidence that we live in a amazingly, phenomenally created place that is done so perfectly that the sun, the rise of the moon, all the stars, everything that they do is like perfect. And that word isn't even a real word in our reality. None of us are perfect. None of us can be, right? But the creation of the sky and the luminaries and our reality, it really is. I mean, it does not fail, right, Jay? Can you name how, see, the fact that the sky is so predictable is how we're able to actually navigate, tell time, count the year, count the day. All of the things that are designed have done in such a phenomenally intelligent way. And then you have guys like Eric Dubay come out because, he wants to be, what, and he doesn't like to hear that that's toxic and unnatural and unhealthy, and that there's something wrong with that. And many other people like that fall into the same category for their own reasons. They don't want to believe it, but the truth has always been here. We just have to lift up our eyes and actually look for it.
Yeah, the sun has never overslept, never been hung over and just decided to not show up one day, right? late for work.
I'm feeling the best. No, the sun mounts up and rises each and every day. It sets at the right time. It's never off. Nothing has ever gone off, ever. This place is so amazing. It is paradise, but it is effed up, okay? Because we had to go through learning good and evil. So while we're dwelling amongst evil, how amazing it is that we can still find righteousness and love and truth and fight for it. I mean, this is the greatest thing we've ever... I still am so excited to be alive right now with all the ways that we can show the truth in the scriptures. And we're going to get to more of that too. I know, did you want to go into the section where you talk about flat earth theism group? Did you want to address that or wait till another time to talk about that?
How about we take a music break and come back? You want to do some of your presenting and then we'll do the flat earth theism last?
That works. This works great.
All right, let's do that. We'll be back.
Let's hope this song doesn't end with a cuss word.
Right.
Forgive us. We're not perfect. Like I was saying, that word isn't real. Get the word perfect out of your head. Unless you're talking about the way that the sky works.
What can I do to stand corrected? Wasn't I supposed to serve and protect you both? Where was the man who promised to be there? Where was the man who stood up and took the oath? What can I do to redeem my soul? So I can join you on the other side. What are my amends and where do I go? To stand the chance to see the only ones I really love again.
All right, and we're going to get a...
That was an interesting song, right?
I don't know the lyrics. Was it good or bad? I don't know.
I'm not really referring to the lyrics. I was more referring to like the style, the genre, the flow. It was just a, very artsy, eccentric type song, in my opinion. That I believe that was an indie track. I enjoyed that. That was a different one. The Hope, performed by the Birds, are better, and I enjoyed that. This one, okay. Am I presented?
You are presented, brother.
I guess so. Exploring the fulfilled prophecies of the Bible. Okay, we don't just deal with the 66 book canon that most people call the Bible. This is just a tiny introduction. We're going to do a much deeper dive. This deserves, serious amount of attention. But the prophecies. So obviously, Jason, if I was to ask you, what is the next big prophecy that is going to be fulfilled?
The next big one?
Yeah, that's been prophesied for a long time.
Well, I guess I'd be looking for the Great Tribulation.
That's definitely part of it, but I want to know, how are we going to know that it's the Great Tribulation? What is the prophecy that we were supposed to look for as Christians? What were we told to look for?
Well, was it Matthew 24? Christ was explaining to the disciples. They asked him, what is it that will be a sign, right?
Yeah. There was those scriptures as well. So yeah, the study goes deep, okay? But the main thing that we're supposed to be watching for is the ministry of the two witnesses. Okay, that's the gold standard, the rose gold, whatever you think the most precious thing in the world is, that's it. Okay? When we know that the two witnesses there that go back to the book of Enoch. The book of Enoch is the one that described the prophecy. So that's, 5,000 years or older. So that's the one we're actually waiting to see. But we've had many that have come and already been fulfilled. It says fulfilled prophecies in the Bible have always been a topic of intrigue and fascination. The idea that events predicted centuries ago, if not, aeons ago, ages, have come to pass in both awe-inspiring and thought-provoking. In this article, we will just take a small dive into the realm of biblical prophecies, exploring the importance, accuracy, historical context, and theological implications. We will examine key examples of fulfilled prophecies, particularly in the Old Testament, and uncover the ways in which these prophecies were fulfilled in Christ. Right? This name here, one thing I want to talk about. Okay, if you don't want to go with the true name, the only name that you shall be saved by, and you don't want to go to the ancient Paleo-Hebrew as we've done, which is Yahawashai. Okay, if you don't want to use that name, just please explain to me why it has the word pig in it. Okay, it's not hard to do the research to see what the word sus is. Okay, that's all I'm saying. I don't want to say the name. I'm not going to refer to my Christ as a pig. Okay, I'm just not going to do it. And that's the only argument that I need to put forth. And you do what you want with the name. I'm not going to call my Christ a pig. So Yahawashai, right? Or Joshua is an English transliteration. Christ. Additionally, we will address criticisms and skepticism. So we're not going to get too deep into all of that. I just want to do a little introduction. So again, we know that the Great Tribulation starts with 1,260 days of two witnesses performing miracles and prophesying and also fulfilling the prophecy that they would come and they would, put everybody on check. Right? They're given supernatural powers. That's what we're waiting for. We have to look back now. Throughout the Bible, we see numerous examples of prophecies that have been fulfilled. These prophecies span across various time periods and are found both, yes, in the Old and New Testament. Okay, they work together, and in the books of Enoch and the tons of the extra canonical books. It's all prophetic, every single word, from the birth of the Savior to the fall of the nations to the fulfillment of these prophecies, demonstrates the consistency of the accuracy of Yahawah's word. Again, if you do the etymology, I'm using the word Yahawah. It's over 7,000 times in the scriptures, YHWH, Yahawah. It's the same name that it's been for the beginning of time to now. We're going to continue to use that one. Go ahead, do your own research on that one too. The fulfillment of prophecy serves as a testament to Yahawah's sovereignty. Okay, we're in a virtual reality. He says, hey, I'm the creator of this. Let me introduce you to my son. He's the one who's going to do the path of salvation. You know why? Because he's got a glowing, loving heart. And this is what Yahawah wanted, okay? And this is the way that it is. Okay, Yahawah and Yahawashai are two different characters with different attributes, okay? And they have prophecies and fulfillments for both of them. They're not a Doolittle God and a Doolittle son, as Carl Sagan and all the other Satanists are going to have you believe. They're actually the ones doing everything right from the beginning. So unveiling the accuracy of biblical prophecies, the accuracy of the biblical prophecies is nothing short of absolutely remarkable. If you start to unpack, there's hundreds, if not thousands of prophecies. And many of them have, yes, already been fulfilled with incredible perfect precision, a word that we don't even use anymore. One such example is found in the book of Daniel, where the rise and fall of empires were foretold, which Jason has gone on and shown you the histographic maps, how all this was perfectly fulfilled and documented. Right? It was in the book of Daniel, he wrote it all down. So I know, Jason, you did the histographical work. You showed it to everybody. This here is one of the ways that we know the Creator made the place, because he says, I will show you, I will speak things of old and they will happen, right? He proclaims the beginning from the end and the end from the beginning, right? He is the Creator, and this is the way that we verify it. And there's no other religion, there's no other teaching, there's nothing else that even comes close, not even a sniff of closeness to the amount of parabolic poetic language and prophetic fulfillments that have happened right from the time of, Adam being the first created man, and then having him have his birth story as the Christ, right? Coming out of the city of Bethlehem, which was, the beautiful, foretold, fruitful city of David. So again, understanding how important biblical prophecy is, we're going to look here. Accurate predictions of future events that have virtually no probability of occurring by coincidence, and spectacularly precise because they seem so superhuman. Popular prognosticators, like Nostradamus, have entertained generations with their elaborate fortune-telling, despite their pitiful track records of, yes, you can see it on the screen, inaccuracy. Nothing even holds a candle to the amount of proof after proof after proof, right down to things that I can't even say because this podcast will be taken down, right? We can look at different prophecies, like from in Daniel here. After I looked, and behold, like a leopard with 4 wings of a bird on its back, and its beast had 4 heads, and the dominion was given to it. We're getting the picture of the histographic map, right? Told through the different beasts. We can see more and more of this prophecy that's been fulfilled. Jason, do you want to comment, or should I just keep going?
You can keep going.
Only the true Elohim, or Yahawah, can so consistently predict such distant events as Yahawah himself asserts. Now, there's many people that come to us, oh, you guys think you can understand reality? They'll say, Jason, they'll ask a question that only the Creator could answer to you. Why was the earth created this way? We could give you our idea.
Yeah, why is the sky blue, right?
Why questions, you're going to have to take it up with Yahawah when you're standing in front of him. Until then, we can do our best to look at what is, right? So we get here in Isaiah. I got to make sure this fits on the screen. Set forth your case, says Yahawah. Every time you see the word Lord in all caps in the Bible over 7,000 times, it means YHWH, Yahawah. That's it. It's not hard to figure out. It says, bring your proofs, says the King of Jacob. Let them bring them and tell us what is to happen. Tell us the former things, what they are, right? That we may consider them, that we may know their outcome or declared to us. So again, we're having a Creator who says, I will tell you the former things, what they are, and that you may consider them. And we learn by looking back. That's how prophecy takes place.
Retrospective.
Right? Retrospectively. Perfect timing on that one. The former things I have declared of old, they went out from my mouth, and I announced them. Then suddenly I did them, and they came to pass. This is talking about how the Creator asserted his truth, that he was the Creator. You're not going to get this from Buddha. You're not going to get this from Muhammad. You're not going to get this from any other place but the actual parabolic scriptures that are in at least 200 different books. Right? I don't know how many you've had, Jason, in your account. I know the Book of Enoch says there's like 360, but I know that some books that we have are many books in one. So we don't really, there's so much. It's because I know that you are obstinate, and your neck is an iron sinew, and your forehead brass. I declared them to you from old. Again, the Creator is constantly, he's a very poetic Creator, right? So let's move quickly into a little bit into messianic prophecies. These are very important. The story of the Savior, the Son of the living Creator, right? Was it prophesied that he would come? Sure it was, and especially Bethlehem. But you, O Bethlehem, right? Ephrathah, right, is this place. It means fruitful. who are too little to become among the clans of Judah. From you shall come forth me, one who is to be the ruler in Israel, whose coming forth is of old, from Ancient of Days. And this is an interesting, so who are too little to be among the clans of Judah. This is sort of talking about a smaller child, an infant that came forth that was small, but then all of a sudden, surprised everyone, came out huge, the underdog, right? Oh, you, O Bethlehem, which means city of David, Bethlehem. And Ephrathah is basically the meaning of fruitful, beautifully fruitful, something that's going to provide, like springs of water that just flow. So then we get down here, you shall come forth from you, one who is to be ruler of Israel. Again, that was Christ's prophecy. And we can get down here. So the Old Testament is filled with dozens of specific messianic prophecies. We need to do more of a deeper study into this. This is just introduction. Every believer should memorize or get to know them. You should want to get to know them, like study everything that Robert Farrell's done, all the extra canonical books. Here we go. Isaiah 7:14. Therefore, the Lord himself will give you a sign. Behold, the virgin shall conceive and bear a son, and shall call his name Emmanuel. That was back in the Old Testament in Isaiah, right? And Emmanuel meant Elohim with us, right? Because there was Yahawashai, the Most High, the Ancient of Days, the Elohim of creators. He's the Elohim creator. And then there was his son, who was also an Elohim like the Father, but not the same character, okay? Right? But still the Elohim of earth. And then we get in Matthew, now the birth of Christ took place in this way. When his mother Mary had been betrothed to Joseph, before they came together, she was found to be with child, right? She was impregnated by the Holy Spirit. Gabriel, like Adam was born through the breath, Gabriel breathed onto Mary, and she became pregnant with Christ, right? Same way that Adam was created. We'll get the Bethlehem story here. Micah says, but you, O Bethlehem, we read that one. There's some more here. Oh, I lost it. It's not fitting on the screen. Then the eyes of the blind shall be opened, and the ears of the deaf unstopped. And then shall the lame man leap like a deer, and the tongue of the mute sing for joy. For waters break forth in the wilderness and streams upon the deserts. Now, again, you absolutely know that when Christ was talking back and forth with John, right? The blind received their sight. Go and tell John. Remember, he said, go and tell John this. The blind receive their sight, and the lame walk. Lepers are cleansed, and the deaf can hear. And the dead are raised up, and the poor have good news to preach. Okay, absolutely fulfilling the prophecy that was written, again, perfectly. We'll continue. There's some more. Isaiah 56. I gave my back to those who strike, and my cheeks to those who pull out the beard. I hid not mine face from the disgrace and the spitting. Okay, guess what happened to Christ? Okay, and some began to spit on him and to cover his face and strike him, saying him, prophesy. And the guards received him with blows. Okay, absolutely verifying that. I think that people are starting to see that there's a lot of parabolic prophetic language. Therefore, I will divide him a portion with the many, and he shall divide the spoil with the strong, because he poured out his soul to death and was numbered with the transgressors, yet he bore the sin of many and makes the intercession for the transgressors. That was another scripture again, and we have it fulfilled in Matthew. Then the two robbers were crucified with him, one on the right and one on the left, perfectly fulfilling what was written. That, there's so many of these. Again, we're just looking at some of them. And then they made his grave with the wicked and with the rich man in his death, although he had done no violence, and there was no deceit found in his mouth. And then again, right, here we go. When it was evening, there came a rich man from Arimathea named Joseph, who also was a disciple of Christ. He went to Pilate and asked for the body of Christ. Then Pilate ordered it to be given him, and Joseph took the body and wrapped it in the clean linen. And so again, verifying that they were going to give him the rich man's death, right? And the wicked, and with a rich man in his death. He did no violence, right? Christ didn't hurt nobody. Taught us that you got to pay a penalty if you go around hurting people, right? Jason's always talking about it. We don't harm anyone, right? We try not to harm ourselves, and we're doing good, right? And then we could start talking about loving one another with the truth, right? For you will not abandon my soul to Sheol, or let your Holy One see corruption. So this was a prophecy from the book of Psalms that David wrote, right? Okay, Christ didn't, he was raised into his angelic body, He got the level up body. So in this virtual reality that we're in, we're about to hit a level up point. Going into the 1,000-year reign, we're going to get 1,000 years, depending on what your actions are within the kingdom. So we're going to get leveled up. This was talking about it. David was obviously inspired by the Spirit to write about the level up that Christ was going to get, right? Let your Holy Ones see corruption. He didn't see corruption, right? He died. They embalmed, they put the myrrh and frankincense on him that was given to him by the Magi, that was brought down from Adam, down through the flood, right? Through Shem, and he didn't see corruption, right? And nor did he go, actually, he went to hell. He smashed open the gates and rescued Adam and the descendants out of hell at that time, being fulfilled in that one. And here it says, and he said unto them, do not be alarmed. You seek Yahawashai of Nazareth, who is crucified, but he has risen. He is not there. See the place where they had laid him. Again, we have another one from the book of Psalms. You ascend on high, leading a host of captives in your train, and receiving gifts among them, even among the rebellious, that Yahawah, the Elohim, may dwell upon there. And it says in Mark, so then the Lord Yahawashai, after he had spoken to them, was taken up into heaven and sat down at the right hand of Yahawah. This is a huge problem for anybody that thinks that God and Jesus are one. So that would say that then Yahawashai, after he had spoken to them, was taken up into heaven, and he now sat down beside himself at his own right hand. It's absolutely not what it says. Right? So all you people that are out there calling out OSAS, you need to call out Trinitarianism. It's a lie from the pits of hell. Psalms 110 through 1, the Yahawah says to my Yahawah, or my Elohim says to my Elohim, sit at my right hand until I make your enemies your footstool. Oh, what does it say here in Peter? Who has gone into heaven and is at the right hand of Yahawah, with angels, authorities, and powers have been subjected unto him. So again, all of these scriptures that are completely verifying the veracity of the scriptures, and this is just a tiny, tiny, tiny foot just into the water.
No, that's great. Prophecy is one of the ways that we can know for certain that the Bible comes from the Creator. Right? That's so once you start seeing that all these prophecies have been fulfilled, then you can have the confidence that the ones that are prophesied to still come are going to be fulfilled as well.
We have the Project Looking Glass, right?
Exactly. All the converging timelines.
Well, there's nothing that you can do. Once it's put down by the Spirit, once it's laid down, it's going to happen.
They come together in the Great Tribulation timeline.
Yeah.
Right?
Absolutely. And again, you want to show that? I think we can do a little bit of a calendar update, and then you can do what you want to do if you want to show that section with that other group.
Yeah, well, you had brought up the Jesus, the sus, right? The sus came up. Somebody in the chat brought up the sus. I just brought up a couple tabs on this quick. So this was...
Screen share from me. Or did you already take it?
Yeah, I switched it already. Let me share with you.
Okay. Sorry, everybody. I didn't know if we had a glitch. We're good.
So the this came up in the other group. They were saying that the Jesus comes from the Greek. It comes from the Greek, right? So let's show everybody what the Greek is. The name corresponds to the Greek spelling Iesus, I-E-S-O-U-S. That's the Greek spelling, and the Latin is I-E-S-U-S. So we go from I-E-S-O-U-S to I-E-S-U-S. That's the difference between the Greek and the Latin. So if you do a search for Sous, S-O-U-S, meaning in Greek, what does Sous mean in Greek? It means under, right? So it means under chef, because typically the sous chef works directly under the executive chef. So in Greek, the sous would mean under. Do you think Christ is the under guy, the underdog, the under guy? No, under.
He's
Under.
the King of Kings.
Yeah.
What, are you kidding me?
under doesn't seem to fit Christ,
he comes
right?
under the wing of Yahawah. But other than that, in creation, nothing is under him. He's the archangel of all creation, right? He's the one put over everything. So he's not under anything. He was appointed above it all.
Yeah, so that doesn't make sense that he's the under guy.
Or the
So
pig.
yeah, so the sus in Latin, come on everybody, it's really simple. Sus equals pig, right? Very, very
That's why
simple.
I have a problem with it. And of course, the Jesuits came up with the name Jesus, and the name Jesuits was the Society of Jesus.
Yeah, the Society of the Earth Pigs.
The Society.
Vatican, what do they call them? The Marines of the Pope. They take these death oaths. They take the death oaths.
Yeah, and they infiltrate, and they go into all the different secret societies, and then they run them how they want.
Yeah, so
Can't talk about too much; they'll shut us down.
I just wanted to bring that up.
Yeah,
and
why
then,
use the sus? You know it says pig right there. Why put it there? And then you call Lucifer, you call Azazel the light bearer, and you call Christ the pig. Yeah, I don't want to get worked up, but it does get me worked up. It really does. Like, one name, you guys, to be saved by. You know, you got all the researching skills. You know, why do these people in these groups? Why don't they take the time to do the research? You could do the research and find YHWH, right? You can do it. It's simple. People say we made it up. No, it's been in the Bible. It's in the scriptures the entire time. Go ahead, Jay. Are you there?
yeah, I'm here. So one more thing. I guess we'll go to the Telegram. We might not have as long of a night tonight, but I just wanted to go to this Telegram group that we brought up recently, Flat Earth Theism. Right? It's 237 members right now in the Flat Earth Theism chat. And this is where I've been spending a lot of time, and I'm not going to spend the time there anymore. So I want to talk about that, the reason why, sort of a thing that went down, took place. And so we've got some people from our group, the people that watch us, that are in here, that are fighting for truth, but there's a whole bunch of fake flat earthers in here, you know, the guys that still want to push the pressurized pizza dome. And there's a whole bunch of globe earth shills in this group. Yeah. And so the problem that I have with the group is that the globe earth shills are allowed to come in and just say things like, I'm an idiot, and that I don't know how heliocentrism works. And my flat earth river proof video is not a flat earth proof video. And they won't give any reasons, any evidences. They won't...
no logic, no explanations, no breakdowns, no pinpoint accuracy of exactly what... It's vague.
Yeah, they get to make these blanket statements. Now, the group is still promoting our content, which, you know, we appreciate, absolutely. But the fact that the Glober shills are allowed to just run amok over here, I talked to the owner of this group and let him know that, well, I just disagree in that type of moderation, right? So the way we handle our stuff is the Glober shills. We don't allow a platform for them to just spread disinformation, and So because of the fact that the shills are allowed just free reign over here to say and do anything that they want, and we actually are sort of like under censorship for if we snap back at anybody, if we call them out, use any of the ad hominem attacks that these people use against us, then we do get muted. So there was a moderator in this group that... I asked him whether or not the creator that he believes in has a name, right? And if he has a name, what the name is, and the guy would not respond. I told him, you don't have to say Yahawashai. You can just say YHWH, just like the Bible says 7,000 times. And still, he refused to answer. So it turns out that one of the top moderators in this group was not a Christian whatsoever. He would not acknowledge that Yahawashai was the creator of this world, and he muted me, and then he took off, and he bolted, and I guess he didn't say anything to the owner of this group. He just ran away. But because of the disarray that's in this group, the fact that the globe earthers are just allowed to attack us and spread disinformation, I'm not going to be spending my time here anymore. I consider it a waste of my time, and I just wanted to let everybody else know that's in our group that's over here doing spiritual warfare, that if you want to continue to engage with these shills that are over there, go ahead. It's it can be fun, it can be invigorating, you get to be involved in spiritual warfare, right? Everybody, that's
You can go over and debate your points, right? Jason's just letting you know that there's a bunch of shills in here that they just basically what Azazel and the other team knows is that they just have to disagree with something, and somebody's cognitive dissonance, that's enough for them. So as long as they're allowed to just say, "Oh, you're a clown shoe, you're an idiot, I don't agree with you," it gets left. No one actually puts any contrary evidence. Right, so you're just gonna get around and around circle. It's sad. I was looking forward to this. I thought, wow, there's a group. They got a lot of eyes on here. They had more members. They got like 8,000 members, and the owner guy Tyler seemed like a cool guy. We had to talk with him, and then bam, that guy muted you, and he was totally projecting his ego. It was unbelievable. And then after that, all this other nonsense took place. There's people in here like Jay Skills doing a great job. Jessica Sampson. There's people. Seth is in here fighting for truth, putting down great comments. This is what I enjoy seeing. I don't spend too much time because I'm always trying to create content, but I did like going in there. I don't see other people that are real though, other than shills interacting at all. Nobody's saying anything. No one's going and learning. I see, Jay Skills and other people having better dialogue. So that's great. Good luck to them.
Yeah, absolutely. So we're always looking for fruit. I had hoped that with our message being exposed to a new group like this, that there would be some fruit that came from it. And, it looks like that might not be the case. We're going to continue looking for a place where once a person realizes that not only are we not on a globe flying through space, but that we're not in a pressurized pizza dome as well, that we're in a stereographic virtual reality, that people would care and they'd be interested and they would want to know who the creator of the stereographic virtual reality was as well. So we didn't really find that in this group, and so we'll keep looking. We'll keep doing what we do.
Yeah.
And hopefully somebody over there will stumble across the stuff that's been shared, and they'll end up coming this direction and learning why the pressurized pizza dome doesn't work and all that kind of stuff, right?
It all comes down to heart condition, everybody. I got to tell you, something that's openly known is that Christ, Yahawashai, has a great heart. He's a loving being. That's why he was given the role of being the savior of mankind. And your heart condition is what dictates everything. And the only people that accept the truth have good hearts. They're righteous people in their souls. Right?
Yeah.
They're going to continue to be.
A lot of disinformation is allowed to be published here. The two sons thing. There's not too many things that piss me off more than the two sons thing, other than fiat currency, right? It's like right up there with fiat currency.
Well, so what they do is the massive campaigns of misinformation go out to hide the fact that you can actually film clouds behind the sun. They'll say, now there's two suns. Of course you can film. There's three suns. They're always pushing the goalpost. What they do is they take something that's true, then they warp it, twist it, distort it, and then put it back out and mass produce it with all the different page shills. It was interesting because I was interested to see if, anybody from this group was a real character, right?
Yeah, so, I mean, in back and forth battles, supposedly this brave guy is supposed to be like not a globe earther, but everything he supports is globe earth, and then he puts out a video like this.
Yeah. Anyone ever see the sun? Have you ever seen the sun cruise through the sky like that, parallel to the ground? Absolutely not.
Coming towards you, moving away from you.
You have to go way far north to have a crazy path like that, and it still sets, everybody.
Watch the columns here. I mean, obviously.
Clear firmament or what? Like, The white rabbit.
I mean, these graphics are showing how this is not the path of the sun around.
That reality doesn't match what you can go out with a sextant and measure with the shadows. Nothing. There's no rise and set angle in this model. It's just a joke.
It's got the white rabbit and one eye down here.
Yeah, they want the one eye symbolism. They want to follow the white rabbit.
Nobody's seen the sun circling around.
Never setting, you know.
Never setting.
But we could do AE map debunks, you know, for 1,000 years.
Oh, he just showed right here.
Now a local sun. That's a completely hypocritical statement.
All right, here's the sun below the clouds right here. But in the Freemason pressurized pizza dome, the sun is 3,000 miles up.
It's never below the clouds. It's always circling. Dean Odell was kicked off of the stage in the debate because he said the sun doesn't rise. Do you know how anti-biblical that is? That the sun doesn't rise or set? Come on.
Sun below the clouds. Proof. There it is. Below.
Debunked their whole model.
Clouds behind the sun.
But they say the firmament, right? Is the sun outside of the firmament? No, it's inside the firmament, they say, in the dome.
So they take the things that we share and then they try to psyop. Yeah. Get that music down. So
that's how they do it. And then they'll show a time-lapse photography making it look like the sun's shrinking or growing due to the fact that it's blurred because it's so bright to getting darker and dimmer where you actually see the true shape of the sun. These are the tricks they play.
Clouds behind the moon. Clouds behind the sun. Are they going to use some of my footage? I want to know.
Yeah, they do that. They do that. La NASA? Says to see them all.
So here's a NASA set. That's great. What else has they got?
Banging out the truth.
NASA set. Well, they showed the clouds behind the sun, but then they pushed the pressurized pizza dome, right?
Two suns.
Stupid. So
but this is their group. This is what they do. You know, we thought we found another place, but I guess not.
Yeah, we'll keep looking.
Yeah.
So I just wanted to give people that update. A little disappointing, but we move on.
It's too bad, right?
Yep.
Hopefully they keep searching for the truth. Anybody that was in there.
Hopefully.
We'll all meet up if you're after the truth, right?
That's how it works.
Yep.
Straight and narrow path.
So we got through it. We're getting through the total freeze here in Texas because we got such warm hearts. Okay, that's what the truth does to you. It warms your heart. Okay, so I hope everybody had a good night and continues to have a good night.
Yeah. Anything else, brother?
Yeah, we'll probably be back next weekend for sure. I'll do the Rise and Grind podcast on Sunday morning. It seems to be the best fit so far. And then maybe Friday or Saturday we'll do another one. What do you say?
Yeah, I've got some stuff in mind for Flat Earth coming up too.
That's great.
Yeah.
Okay, well, thanks for tuning in. I hope everybody on the other side of the screen goes back and watches that Job 38 section again, and you decide which model of reality that you live on. Okay, if you live on an infinitely expanding heliocentric Big Bang ball Earth, that's choice A. If you think B, which is a domed in, or is that the way that you did it? I don't want to get it wrong.
Yeah, globe was A, pressurized pizza dome B.
Yes, that's what I was saying.
VRC.
C is virtual reality. Okay, you figure out which one allows you to walk on water, change wine into water, which one allows you to raise people from the dead and put flesh back upon bones that you materialize out of nowhere, which one allows you to reincarnate, which one allows you to command the stars in the heavens and all of the light to come forth before the sun and the moon. And
that's a big one right there.
I know I could go on and on forever, but it was really fun. You know, you're only going to get this content, right, on the Team Yahawashai News Networks. You're not going to get it in the Flat Earth Theism chat group. Okay, you're going to get it on Reality Check and on the Yahawashai News Networks. That's on Rumble. That's here on YouTube, and you'll find us more and more as we move forward. Thank you for tuning in.
One more thing I got to say on the isms. Have you ever come across a good ism before?
No, not yet.
Not yet. I haven't come across any good isms, so Maybe a name change for the group is in order, because isms have always been bad.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. The theism group. He's got the ism in the name, unfortunately. But hey, good luck to them.
Yeah.
I dust the dirt off. Whatever. We keep moving. Good to meet you. Take care.
Good night, everybody.